All right,
All
this
right,
is your
this
Women
is your
Radio
Women
WFM
Radio WFM
91.7. A beautiful
91.7. A
morning to
beautiful
you.
morning
Just
to
in case you
you.
joined
Just
us
in
for the
case you
very
join
first
us for
time
the
this
very first time
morning,
this morning,
how are
how
you? I
are
hope your
you? I hope
Wednesday is
your
going
Wednesday
on
is
well.
going on
Today
well.
is the
Today
18th
is the
day in
18th
the
day
month
in the
of
month
February
of February
2026. You're
2026.
welcome
You're
to the
welcome
program
to the
Political
program
Arena
Political
right here
Arena
on
right here
Women Radio
on Women
WFM
Radio WFM
91.7. My
91.7.
name
My
is Rose
name is
Yusuf
Rose
Kaiser,
Yusuf
and yes,
Kaiser, and
I
yes,
love
I
to be
love
here
to
to
be
talk
here
with
to
you
talk with you
and to also talk
and
to
also talk
you
to
so that you're
you so
able to
that you're
understand
able to understand,
all of the issues
all
that
of
we're
the issues
facing.
that we're
And
facing.
on
And
Political
on
Arena, we get
Political
to
Arena, we
discuss
get to discuss
politicking in the
politicking
country
in the
as
country
regards
as
to,
regards to,
women, how
women,
women come
how
into the
women come into the
picture, how we
picture, how
can
we
see,
can see,
we can all rub
we can
minds
all rub
together
minds
to
together
have more
to have
women in
more
leadership
women in leadership
positions and
positions
look at how
and
we
look at
can
how
make
we
our
can make our democracy better at the end of the day. All right. So on Political Arena, for the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about the Special Seats Bill, HB 1349. And today, of course, we'll definitely continue that conversation. Remember that, last week with Austin here on the program, I said that we'll keep talking about this so until the Senate themselves sit down and vote a yes to the Special Seats Bill. And until we see that this one, they've even assented to it, is just to act upon it. As we know, time no day again, no elections are by the corner. INEC is putting together its, whole agenda for the election. So we're beginning to see the timetable and all of that for the elections. By this time next year, it's possible that I will say that, oh, okay, elections have we're done with it, or we're about to start, because there's still the whole Ramadan period by then. How are we going to do? So there's just a lot going on there, but I'm sure that we'll definitely get to have all of the final updates very soon, and everybody will know which thing they happen. But for now, our conversation on the special seats bill will continue. Now, on Monday, we have women from, different organizations, women from different, sectors who came together. Are we looking at NGO, civil society groups? We're looking at even private, individuals, women who came out to go to the National Assembly to have a peaceful walk, peaceful protest on, calling on our policymakers to say yes to the special seats bill. Now, we are hoping that, that is where it will end, and they will definitely do the needful so that we don't get to see ourselves coming out more often. If not, now, so all of us go to raise our voices. While people were in Abuja, we were here in Ogun State and Lagos, joining our voices with them and, moving in the solidarity work to see that this is done. But has it been done right from Monday till now? Not yet. So, yes, I will continue to do this conversation until we get the positive results that we need on this special seat bill. All right. So today on the program Political Arena, we're going to be talking to another person who is very passionate about the special seats bill. Her voice too has been one, that has been speaking on the special seats bill. So we're going to be talking to her today, and we're going to be looking at the topic, why Nigeria, as it is right now in 2026, cannot ignore the special seats bill. So that's what we'll be looking at, why we cannot ignore the special seats bill, why we cannot push it under the carpet, why we cannot, just shove it aside and just assume that, oh, let's just go on business as usual. No, we have to look at it, the importance of it and why we cannot ignore the special seats bill now in Nigeria. That's what we'll be looking at. And of course, joining me this morning on the program is none other than Anuli Anibo. She's the executive director of Hairs Women. Good morning, Anuli. It's good to have you join us on this conversation on Women Radio.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you so much for letting us have this conversation consistently. Women Radio, and good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, the world. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yep, it's great to have you join us once again. So, yeah, to be a part of the conversation, you want to lend your voice to this, please feel free, send me WhatsApp messages, call us. Let's get to know that we're not alone. We have you who is listening to us, and then you're going to join your voices with us to make sure that we keep calling on our policymakers, to have a positive result as regards to the special seats bill. All right, you can do that by dialing 07000 917 please do also dial 09155 Go ahead and let us get your WhatsApp messages, text messages on 070 070 or 08155 Those are the numbers to get in touch with us this morning on the program Political Arena. All right, and then let's just head on straight to the conversation proper, without even mincing words or, going around it. Why is this really important for us now? Why can't we just ignore? Because let's go back a little. There's been some, um will I say some there have been some what's the word right now, we've had cause to keep quiet on some of the policies that we thought they would actually assent to. Are we looking at affirmative action? Are we looking at the policy that has to do with when a woman marries, when a woman marries somebody abroad or marries a foreigner, she's not, so there's just a lot of them that have probably come up, and we're just looking at it by the side. Nothing has been done about it. We'll talk na day day. But this particular one, why is it that we cannot ignore it? We can't afford to ignore it right now in Nigeria.
Thank you so much again for the opportunity. See, you're very right. We've been speaking, and even all of the 5 gender bills you mentioned that we started with, we're still speaking. I will not stop speaking. But permit me to start some name calling, right? Let's call out some state assemblies who do not have any women in representation. Permit me to do that. We've got 14 state houses of assembly with 0 female representation in 2026. I repeat, we have 14. We have, interestingly, Abia State is doing fantastic, doing great with Governor Opi, but we haven't got any women in the State House of Assembly. We don't have in Bauchi, we don't have in Borno, we don't have in Gombe, we don't have in Imo, we don't have in Jigawa, we don't have in Kano, we don't have in Katsina, we don't have in Kebbi, we don't have in Oshun, we don't have in Plateau, we don't have in Sokoto, we don't have in Yobe, and we don't have in Zamfara. So imagine what the representation of women's issues might look like in those states. But we have women who occupy the wife of the governor's positions, right? We have that. So we need to be able to understand that before we even look at why it benefits us. I can tell you that we can talk about why it benefits us, which is quite range, but let's start with why. Let's call out the names and the states of the state assemblies where this special seats bill, should it be passed by God's grace, would need to be implemented. Those places that need to be implemented, right? So that's one. Now I wanted to call it out from then on because there's still data in the local government areas about women representation that goes up level. But I wanted to start from state houses of assembly because I know that we're all, rightfully used to calling out National Assembly. We've got 3.5 or 4 there. Those are great numbers. But I always invite Nigerians and invite those that I work with in terms of the leadership space to also look deeper in terms of the decline that lack of women representation has had and is still having in our nation today. Did you know that you got less than 10% of student union governments who are women who are presidents in our universities? Did you know that? And that if you ever even become in a leadership team, you are probably going to be a vice president or any of the other roles. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm trying to tell you that this has transcended over time. Now, the impact of how we look at women representation reflects across sport. There is zero understanding of what women bring to the table because it is not properly attended to. Now, there are arguments here and there about meritocracy and all of that, but that's not where we are at this particular point in time. What we're talking about right now is a special seats bill, the importance of it, which is creating additional seats for women in the upper and lower houses, i.e. the Senate and the House of Representatives. I mean, if you look at it now, right, you can count how many women are there. There's an argument that in the House of Representatives you have more. But when that kind of argument comes, I ask, how many seats do you have in the House of Representatives that you're saying that women are more? And how many do you have in the Senate that you're saying women are more? It is not enough. It's the narrative that we should always push. It is not enough. It is not enough. There are so many implications. As a nation, sometimes there are international engagements that we tend to as a nation, and we are being asked, where are the women? And I respect what Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala said when she wrote her book. She said, when she said corruption is dangerous, there's a chapter that she dedicated to speaking to women in representation. Dr. Okonjo said that, women, Nigeria is not devoid of intelligent women. Nigeria is not devoid of hardworking women. Nigeria is not devoid of educated women, However, you don't see a lot in the helms of affairs. And do you know what you call that? It's a paradox. And this paradox has got to be resolved. So that's why we have to keep on speaking about passing the bill.
I definitely agree with you, Anuli, because I mean, if we want to sit down and check the advantages, the good side of having this bill consented to is enormous when we want to critically look at it. Are we looking at it for our future? Are we looking at it for our young girls? Are we looking at it for changing the course of democracy in Nigeria? Are we looking at competing with nations who have gotten to this stage and are doing exceedingly well within Africa for that matter? So, I mean, when we want to look at how positive this is, then, there are lots of advantages to it. So, how then do we begin? Anyway, before I get to the next question, this is your Women Radio WFM 91.7. And of course, it's a quarter to 12 right here on Women Radio. Please do want to be a part of the conversation by dialing 07000 917 917. You can also dial 09155 917 917. And do want to send us WhatsApp messages, text messages to 070 My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser, and of course, I have the executive director of His Women, and she is one that her voice has, we've been hearing her voice as regards to the special seats bill, and of course, it would definitely, be good that we get to bring her as we are doing all of this, programs, just so that we are able to keep speaking about the special seats bill. And we have with us Anuli Anibal with us. She's the executive director of Hers Women. So back to the question I wanted to ask you, Anuli, then how do we then hold our policymakers accountable? Because at the end of this, it's on them right now. It's on them, and we are doing our best to see that, to make them understand how important this is. Now, those in the Senate, those in the House of Reps, and then we, who are their constituents. How do we hold them accountable to this? How do we make sure we keep drawing their attention to this, to make sure that when they get there and they open this bill and it's before them, they get to do the right thing?
Thank you again for the opportunity, Rose. See, just speaking to the softer side of the benefits of the special seats bill is a strategy that, we are employing as well. And I say that to say that, a lot of, fantastic NGOs, coalitions, everybody who is working is speaking to the passage of the special seats bill. So the softer side of getting the lawmakers to see what is going on is we have to be objective to say that not all of them have necessarily seen or heard, understood the benefits of women in leadership. I have to throw in the social cultural norms and our upbringing, right? The way the script has been written, the way that we've all been raised, because like I keep saying, if you ask us, if I tell you to do a quick example now, when I tell you to close your eyes and imagine who a leader is, 9 out of 10 times, a lot of people say it's men or
Mm-hmm.
boys, because we're socialized not to think of ourselves as leaders. So that's from the societal level, for, in my opinion, right down to the family. But I believe that society also influences family. So a lot of men are not socialized to actually see women in positions of leadership. They have been socialized to see themselves in the positions of leadership, right? The laws, the social norms have elevated quite greatly the position of men in everything. The
Hmm.
provider, the protector, everything, right, is
Yeah.
on the men. So the men have been raised to be this way, and women have been raised to see them as that. So what we're
Mm.
really looking at is an attitudinal change, a mindset
Mindset.
shift on how
Yeah.
you can actually see that women benefit way more than the family, because trying to now transition the skills, amazing woman who is, very married with children and running a home, and having a successful husband or partner,
Mm.
you see her skill as just limited to the home front, just domestic skills. Those skills are not yet seen and translated to a powerful leadership quality, and they are. The countries that survived the COVID had women who were leading, and guess what their core leadership skills were centered on? Empathy and service. And that is what you and I are raised with as women. And that is
Yeah.
where the benefit should come from. So socialization hasn't done us, all of us. I still believe that social
Well.
norms are a scam. They haven't done all of us a good. So when we come and when we're trying to say we want to hold them accountable, we need to have a conversation about what women really do bring to the forefront of leadership in our country. And I myself with my team, we have our own volunteer group that we run, Air Women Health Volunteer Group for Special States Bill. And we sat down to study and developed 10 simple benefits that we believe that we can sell. And just a few of it just says that, the men in National Assembly will be involved in making decisions that show parity and equity. Men will be involved more due to the ability of women to see an inclusion in social issues. Boys will have transformed mindsets when they actually see more women leading. And this can even re-engineer the mindset when they're younger, right? That, oh,
Mhm.
women can also lead.
Yeah.
Imagine that you see visibility of women increases along media, which is why I respect what Women Radio is doing. Visibility of women increases in media, and media is a very, very strong point. People
Mhm.
emulate what they see in the media. If you don't see enough women in the media, you're not going to have a transcending mindset. So that's a
True.
super part of how we are approaching the lawmakers to see this bill. It's not a competition.
Mhm.
This competition is not even there. We're not taking away any man's seat. So the structure competition is not even there. The Where we're looking at this is say, why don't you just open it up a bit and see how much value we really bring to the table? So um holding accountability has got to shift. We can't use the same method. We're talking, we're speaking, but the
Mm.
softer side of us needs to come out to show that empathy, resilience, with inclusion, with focus, with also showing you the parts that we can do by leadership, the parts that are important is where we need to hold, sort of speak to them. I know holding accountable sounds like a hammer on a nail sort of phrase, right? But we have to be able to have a conversation and then select or nominate capable women who will actually do the job. I am not for nominating or putting women who will
Mhm.
not do the job. I am with Dr. Okonjo-Iweala to say that you have to bring women who can actually effectively do the job. you have women-owned businesses who are actually increasing the GDP of Nigeria. Do
Mhm.
you know that? We actually increase the GDP of
Oh,
Nigeria.
yeah.
That is something of value that can be put on the table. So the transition should really center on lawmaker. This is what we can do with
Hmm.
you. This is how we can carry it on. We have this amount of time. Just let's do it, right? Let's work together. And like the special seats bill is a cycle of 4 years. Evaluate and see if we can do it or not
Oh no.
without throwing it away. And I feel like these conversations will begin to reset the minds of the men and some women who are not necessarily for the bill. We have to speak that
Hmm.
out. Not all women are for it for their
Yes.
own.
Yes.
So we have to speak honestly, right? Begin to
Mhm.
talk to them about how we can give this a better chance. Lastly, Nigeria would be ranked higher than she is at the moment. We can't beat
Hmm.
the bottom of the barrel. 177 out of 177 who don't have women representation. And they keep using other African countries as shield for us. But we have capable women who actually go to those countries to do conferences, to do speaking
What?
engagements, to do
Yeah.
seminars, but not in our own country. So it's an appeal as well to the National Assembly to consider it just this once and see what a lot of us who you are going to put on that seat will do for the nation.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said, okay, let's try our soft side. Let's try, the other side, so that when they are able to see reasons with us, then maybe you'll just be, making headway there. All right, so this is where we wrap up the program for today. But before we go, maybe in just a few seconds, your final words, Annalie, before we leave.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. My final words is for us women not to give up, not to relent. We've
Hmm.
come this far not to remain here, right? We need to keep on thinking intellectually about how we can win everybody, the nation to our own side. We need
Yeah.
to be able to work collectively. We need to collaborate collectively. The special
Hmm.
state space is for all of us. It's
All
not
of
for a few people. It's not to position somebody over anybody. It's for all
Hmm.
of us. I speak to and I call for collective collaboration and not giving up and holding hands to say that this bill works not just for only women, but for men, boys, girls, and the entire nation. Thank you.
Course. Thank you so much for being a part of our program today and for also joining your voice with us to keep pushing for the special seats bill. And hopefully we'll come back here again with you and
Yes,
say
please.
how this has gone well and what we've been able to do with this.
Yes.
In the nearest future. So that's our hope and prayer for the special seats bill. Thank you so much, Annalie, for being a part of the program today. All right, you all to have a great day and enjoy the rest of the week. All right, so dear listener, you have heard it, and this is where we'll wrap it up today on a political arena. Join us again next week, Wednesday. God willing, we'll be back here to talk about the special seats bill. If it has been passed before then, of course, we will be talking in congratulatory mood, But if not, we'll keep speaking until we get to that point where we're telling ourselves congratulations for moving a step forward in the right direction in terms of our democracy, in terms of inclusion. All right, my name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. A very big thank you to the producer of the program, Fumi Bangbala, and of course to our executive producer, Tonke Wale Shunaya. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Do well to keep your dialogues right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Good morning.